All right, guys, take two on that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Life to the Max podcast with your hosts,
Janna Breslin.
and Evan DeMarco. Hopefully I'm doing that one over. This was a little bit of a special one where we hope to give you a little bit of an insight into who we are, what it is that we want to accomplish with this one, and most importantly, inspire you to follow us on our journey of life to the max. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Life to the Max podcast with your hosts,
Janna Breslin.
and Evan DeMarco. So we have been doing this for about a month and a half now. We've had some of the most incredible interviews with some of the most inspiring people on the globe, really making a difference in some of the areas that we feel really passionate about. And as we've started to launch this website, as we've started to disseminate some of this content, one of the questions that both of us keep getting asked through our specific social media platforms is, who the hell is this person that you're hanging out with? So we wanted to take a couple minutes in this really horrible location here in La Jolla, California, after we've just spent a couple days doing more incredible interviews, to talk to you guys, our audience, about who we are, why we're here, and what Life to the Max really represents. So as we get into that, I think I want to start with the most prevalent question that I get asked all the time, which is, who is this unattractive woman you keep hanging out with?
Who is she, Evan?
I don't know. It's clearly not her. But so okay, a little bit of backstory. You and I met about a year ago at a Fit Expo.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah. The LA Fit Expo.
LA Fit Expo, and
Which
then
actually was exactly a year ago this month.
okay. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
So then we met for about a New York minute, and then we really got to know each other at the XPT retreat in Costa Rica, which was about 6 months ago.
Yes. That was an amazing trip. And that's when I think something was born there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can speak. I feel like that's where we connected on a level where, like, we need to do something more with our lives, with our purpose here. There's something more than just posting pictures on Instagram and staying inside making supplements.
Yes, yes, definitely a lot more to that. So it was kind of funny, right? So we're at this health and wellness retreat, and we're working out. We're doing these crazy workouts like underwater, with weights and ice baths and saunas, surfing with Laird Hamilton. So at the end of the day, everybody's exhausted, but you and I are just kind of hanging out at a bar at a health and wellness retreat. A little weird. Maybe kale smoothie, is that what we were drinking? I don't remember. But we kept talking about what the future held, and I think that's where this idea was born, that there's so much more that we could be doing with our specific platforms. Yeah. And so I remember we have these 4 days in Costa Rica. You get on a plane back to San Diego, I go back to Sacramento, and I'd already scheduled a trip for about a month later. And I think I called you like the next day and I said, hey, we're going to Peru for 10 days.
Yeah, want to come?
Yeah.
And I was like, please?
Yeah.
May I? Yeah, which was another incredible trip that, Peru, third world country. It's just, you go to these places and it opens you up your eyes, and it really makes you see that there's something greater than just what we're doing, focusing on more materialistic things, just things that don't really matter that much. So for me, that's when my eyes were opened a little bit more to, okay, I need to be doing something more with my purpose here, my following, what I do for work. I know that there's a deeper thing here that I should be and could be doing, and I'd be doing the world a disservice if I did not share that.
So that's a great question, right? What is your purpose?
My purpose. Still trying to figure that out along the way. But
I love this, the Superwoman pose while you're doing that.
It just felt right to do that. I don't know why I'm doing it. It's awkward. I'm awkward. Welcome. My purpose, that's a great question. I'm currently finding that the more that we do what we're doing, interviewing amazing people, telling incredible stories on how they're making the world a better place, that is I grew a social media following over the years, and I've always wanted to connect deeper with people than just having all these internet friends or whatever you'd call them. These people that follow you, they know you, but they also don't know you at the same time. And it's like, how can you reach people on a deeper level and change the world and make the world better and make it a better place to live and share better, more inspiring stories and give them actionable steps to take on what they can do to also help their communities, their world, the people around them. So I think I recently found my purpose, which is what we're doing, and it's something I'm very excited about, and I am just stoked to be doing this with you, and we have such a clear direction forward, and it's very exciting. What do you think? I mean, what's your thought process through this? Why are you here? What's your purpose, Evan?
That is a great question. And I think I found that. So, and being the old person in our little group here, maybe my advanced age gives me a little bit more direction on this one. I'm 25 and you're 26 according to our internal age, which we're going to talk a lot about as we get into the health and wellness aspects of this. No, I'm a single father, and most people really know me from Single Daddy Daily, which is one of my platforms where I discuss the challenges of being a single parent. But there's a responsibility that I don't know if I felt prior to having a kid. You know, my daughter really kind of gives me that connection to a lot of the decisions that we make as a species and how our uneducated decisions and how the actions that we take really impact the world for future generations.
Right.
So we launched a really cool sizzle reel kind of talking about what it is that we're doing, and one of the quotes that came out of that is, "The only thing for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing." Mm-hmm. And I recognize that it's not just that. It's like we get to be the ambassadors of people who are doing things. We get to tell the incredible stories of people who are making a difference, but we also get to educate an audience about what their role in saving the oceans are, what their role in protecting the environment, what their role is in, you know, caring for our disenfranchised vets. Mm-hmm. So I always had this idea that I wanted to be the one that fixed the problems. And when I met you and we first started talking about this, I recognized that our role in this isn't to fix the problems, it's to tell the stories of the people that are fixing the problems.
Right.
And I always come back to the first podcast that we did together in Tahoe. And it was this great moment where we did it and then we hit the end button on the machine, and I just looked at you and I'm like, yeah, this is right.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited, and my purpose in all of this is to help shape a world for my daughter, help shape a world that I can be proud to leave, not just her, but future generations, and know that we did our part to save all of this.
Right. And it's interesting because both of us come from a health, wellness, fitness background. We're in that industry. That's what we've been immersed in for years now. And, you know, we've done...
You say that, like, I look at your posture and then mine. I'm like, I need to stop slouching so much. Apparently, I'm not as healthy as I think I am.
You know, we're working on it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing here. Like, we've done how many interviews so far? And I don't think we've touched once on, like, training modalities or, like, types of diets that are the best. You know, like, how many vegetables should you be eating? We haven't touched on that. The things that we're touching on, the things that we're passionate about I mean, sure, that's a huge part of what makes you and the world a happier, healthier, better place is you know, taking care of yourself on a physical level. But there's so many other parts of the world and of life that are so important that I think we really need to share that and bring more light to. So that's something I'm really excited about. Is a lot of people would assume, given our backgrounds, that we would be focusing on health, fitness, like nutrition or whatever.
Yeah.
And sure, I mean that's part of, I guess, what we're doing, but there's other greater things here that I think we're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. I don't think we're ever going to do a video on the proper way to do a squat.
You never know.
Maybe not. You never say never.
There's plenty of those out there already, I would probably say. But.
Exactly. And I think that was one of the things that we connected on early on was there's all of this information about those type of things, right? I don't want to just be another voice in that crowd. I want to be a voice that elevates the conversation about, okay, now that you're healthy, now that you've taken the right supplements and modified your diet and done all of that, then what? Because I think everything in that health and wellness space falls short of empowering people to improve their lives in the health and wellness space and then do something with that. And that tide of what we've created so far and the outreach of the people that have just seen the limited amount of stuff that we've produced it's infectious. People are like, I want to get involved with this.
Yeah, there has been a lot of excitement that I felt from people just explaining what we're doing. I think they can sense our passion for what we're doing here. and what our goals are with this. And it is exciting to see other people very eager and willing to be a part of what we're doing here.
So we ask this question of every guest that comes on the show is, if you had one wish, what would it be? Except for more wishes.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
if I gave you one wish, what would it be?
And this is an interesting question because we ask so many people this, and so we hear a lot of varying degrees of what that is in people's minds and stuff. And it's a really good question. It is a very good question. You know, I believe that if more people were more open-minded and not so stuck in their own lane all the time and are just willing to learn and absorb knowledge from many different people, many different environments, I think the world's eyes would be a little bit more open and accepting and loving, and I think that would be it. It would just be for the world to have more of an open mind and learn. Just be willing to learn and absorb knowledge from lots of people. Hopefully that's a good enough answer.
Yeah, the beauty of a wish like that is that there's a ripple effect. You know, when people become open-minded, it allows them the opportunity to not take everything at face value and not take everything so personally.
Well, you know, we're going to be talking about some controversial, interesting topics here that a lot of people might be learning for the first time, or maybe already have thoughts and opinions about those that are quite strong. So, you know, I think our goal here isn't really to have strong opinions on a certain topic, but bringing in people that are educated and have done the research and have put in the time to understand these things. I just think it's important to always be open-minded, always be listening and aware. Sure, have your own thoughts and opinions, but just be willing to absorb new information as well. So, Evan, if you had one wish, what would that be?
Ooh, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. I would wish that carbs didn't make me fat.
Wow.
We are coming to a tipping point. That is an inevitability. And the polarization of the internet, the way that people are so offended by everything, the way that people take everything so personally, and the nature of the world that we live in is bringing us to this brink. And I'm afraid that we've got enough momentum to go right over the edge. Now, people have forgotten what community is like. We've forgotten what it's like to love your neighbor and to care for other people. And my wish really is that we pull ourselves back from that precipice and recognize that we have an opportunity, unlike any other time in human civilization, to take all of the technology, all the knowledge, all of the beauty that the internet gives us and really make that a force for good. You know, we've forgotten what it's like to reach for the stars. You know, in 1960, John F. Kennedy said, by the end of the decade, we're going to put a man on the moon. We haven't reached for the stars anymore. We stopped caring. We stopped inspiring for greatness. And so that's a really long-winded answer, which I'm good at, as we know. Mm-hmm. I want us to reach again. I want what we do to inspire people to reach for the stars again. And in that, find out just what we're made of. That's my wish.
I love it. So similar things here.
Yeah, you just said it better.
Reach higher, be open-minded.
Yeah. Reach higher, be open-minded.
Recipe for success.
Yeah. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself very proud. Proud of myself, proud of what I've accomplished, proud of the direction that I chose to take embarking on this journey. I just see a very proud and happy and fulfilled person. I would say I'm there. I feel I love my life. I'm very grateful for my life. But back to your topic of always be reaching. That's my goal there. That's where I see it. What about you?
I'll get to that in a second, but I want to touch on something that I think is important to me as we kind of really convey who we are to the audience that's following Life to the Max. And I don't mean to be telling tales outside of school. That's an old man cliche, by the way. But when you posted our first video, you got some backlash on your social media. People telling you to stay in your lane. And I want to come back to that because I think my natural instinct is to get a little protective of things, and I wanted to do that, and that's not my place. But I want the world who's watching this to know that what we don't see in Instagram with you is one of the things that I am so happy that I get to see on a consistent basis as we work together. You are one of the smartest, most researched, most educated, most articulate people that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I love how prepared you show up, and I love how much passion you bring to this project. So as we get backlash, which we know we're gonna get, my hope in all of this is that people get to see the Janna that I've been fortunate enough to see as we build this together. So I guess that's my way of saying I'm coming to your rescue. I don't even want to do that, but that's I just felt like I needed to say that. Yeah.
You know, social media is obviously an interesting world. It's like, you know, it's you put out the best, you put out, you know, certain things. There's certain things you share, there's certain things you don't share, and it's an interesting world, that's for sure. So.
Yeah. So in 5 years, where do I see myself? Life to the max is where adventure meets responsibility. So how do we fix the world? It's one problem at a time, one step at a time. But we can't do that and solely focus on the problems without ignoring the thing that makes us human, which is this desire to connect and have fun and experience all the joy and splendor that this world has to offer. So 5 years from now, I want to recognize that we've only seen a small fraction of the world. We've only made a small dent in the problems, but we keep fighting that good fight every single day. So whether it's making sure that elephants are still alive in Africa, maybe it's, you know, dealing with the fire crisis in Australia, maybe it's saving great whites from, you know, extinction, cleaning up plastics in the ocean. I want this to be the adventure of a lifetime that we get to inspire people to join us for. And if we do that, then I think we've got something of value here.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Well, so that being said, let's go do something of value.
Let's go do what we're talking about.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Life to the Max podcast with your hosts,
Janna Breslin
and Evan DeMarco. This was a little bit of a special one where we hope to give you a little bit of an insight into who we are, what it is that we want to accomplish with this one, and most importantly, inspire you to follow us on our journey of life to the max. See you next time.